Welcome. So right now you are hurting, you're wondering, why does he feel so far away? Did something change? Did I do something wrong? Before you panic, breathe. There's a way forward. And today I'm going to show you the real steps that actually rebuild connection without begging, chasing, or losing yourself. Yes, I want to be speaking to you from my heart. I know that emotional distance is scary. It makes you question everything. You feel confused, lonely, unsure of what to say or how to say it. Is it because of me? Is he struggling? What is going on? Why are we getting separated? Why is this distance growing? Yes, listen, many marriages go through this time, this season of little bit of disconnection, and if it is not well taken care of, it can grow. And distance does not mean that he is done with the marriage. Doesn't mean. It means something in the relationship needs wisdom, needs attention, needs a reset. And you are not powerless here. You are definitely not alone. So if you're a wife out there and you are looking for support, for help, to make sure that this distance doesn't continue to increase and your husband falls in love with you again, gets to follow you through that lifelong promise of togetherness that you both made, I am here to share with you. All right. But before we begin, let's see who is there. If you are live with me right now, type hashtag live in the comment. If you are catching this on the replay, hashtag replay, and let us know where you are joining from right away. If you are joining, if you're watching it on the replay later on, yes, let us know where you are watching on the replay from. All right, so this is a video for that wife who loves God or who has decided that, you know what, I want my marriage to be the way God designed it to be, and I need support on how to get it that way. So let's go back to when the relationship was good. What is the reason for the pulling away of your husband? Right? We're not going to be judging here. This is not my way of trying to bring some blame. It's just clarity. Okay, sometimes it's because he's overwhelmed internally. Pressure at work, stress that he hasn't told you, or even shame that he is hiding. That can cause separation. When a husband feels that they're not doing what they ought to do, they can feel ashamed. And there are many reasons why a husband can feel ashamed. Sometimes it's because they're not making enough money. And you may say, but I'm making some money and we're okay. But because they internally feel that they need to rise up to certain expectations that they put on themselves, they can pull away. Sometimes he feels criticized or misunderstood. Even if that is not what you intended. A husband can feel criticized when you correct everything he does, the way he speaks, the way he shows up, the way he dresses. Any of these things can make a husband feel criticized and misunderstood. Sometimes unresolved conflicts can create emotional scars that are yet to be healed. You guys have had conflict after conflict and they have not been resolved. They can begin to build walls. Sometimes marriages just have shifted into survival mode. So you're just doing tasks, schedules, and responsibilities. It's not about you right now. I'm not trying to put blame on you. I'm just trying to say to you, these are some of the things that causes a man to begin to pull away. And whatever one resonates with you, you can walk from there, right? So here's what a lot of people may not understand. And of course, you know it deep down within you that no one can force you to love. Neither can we force anyone to love you. And so The truth is, the title of the video says how to make your husband love you again. But you can't really make anyone love you. You can only create the atmosphere for them to love you. And my goal is to help you create that atmosphere to wake up the love that was already there. Because real love doesn't end. Real love is constant. It stays forever. And so if you've had love, then we can wake it up. We can create that atmosphere. And so the 3 steps I'm going to be sharing with you will start with that. Creating that atmosphere where your husband's love can be reignited. And of course, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything in one video, but I'm going to put a good foundation forward that you can then use, expand on. And if you have questions, you can ask me and I can answer them in other videos, or you can of course watch my other videos and catch up on them. So the first step is to recognize, what does a man look for in a woman that he loves? What really makes you the man he loves in the first place? I want to tell you, men love or fall in love with the woman that likes them. Oh yes, I know this is a long debate that people have been having over the years, and I remember when I was in university, the older students and our older friends were telling us, look, for a woman to really like you, for you to get married to a woman, the woman usually likes you first. And we're arguing that no, it's the men that like the woman first. Now, the truth is, it could be both ways. But in general, I discovered over years of interacting with men and women and marriages, after 20 years of being a pastor and doing this work, I realized that for a man to really go all in for a woman to choose her and decide to stick with her, marry her, she really needs to like him first. Now, who likes each other first? We don't really know. Who notices each other first? One person first? I don't know for sure. But I know that if a man says, I want to marry this woman, I usually notice that it is because she likes him. And when he knows that she likes him, then he settles in and is willing to put all on the ground, just risk everything to get her to be part of his life. So a man likes you because, or wants to stay with you, get married to you, love you because you like him. And so we're going to have to look at that. But that's not the only thing. It has to be paired with the fact that not only do you like him, of course, he's attracted to you, but he also wants to like someone that likes themselves. In other words, you like him not because of what he has or what he does. He wants to like you because you are confident and you like yourself. So a man that likes your husband, likes you right now, loves you, got married to you because he believes that you like him, and he believes that you're not going to be an emotional burden on him. Right? So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is that he wants also to like someone that other people like, including you, of course. He wants to feel that he got a good catch. No, I know that people don't like me to say some of these things because it's weird. Especially as believers, we want to say, I love her because God wants me to love her, and I love her with all my heart. It doesn't matter if anybody else doesn't. That's the ideal. But most times, you also want to have someone whom, when you stand with her, she says, people feel that, wow, he got a great wife, right? So if you have those at the background, if you have those at your background, you can reignite the love that you had with your husband. Those 3 things: like him, you like yourself, and you are in this space where he can feel confident and proud that the woman that he got is the woman that is valuable, is precious, someone that many other men would really want to have. All right. So in order to do that, in order to create that atmosphere, you want to do a few things. You stop chasing him and begging him. You put all that aside and you try to put away the tension that is out between both of you, right? So if there's tension, you stop it. You can. Now, it takes two people to fight. It takes two people to fight. If you make up your mind, I am no longer going to fight with my husband. Just let me check my chat here. If you are live with me, check. Just let me know that you're there. Now, if you make up your mind, I'm no longer going to fight with my husband, you can do that. I'm not going to allow any tension in our marriage. You can do that. All you have to do is make up your mind that it's gone, it's finished. In other words, when there's something that's stirring up in your heart that you want to complain about, you put it away for now, right? Because you don't want any tension. Just to reset the whole atmosphere. No tensions, no controlling, no correcting. Just release the whole thing, right? So right now, you don't call for a talk. Let's talk about this. There's something I'm not happy about. If you notice that there's a gap, and that gap is increasing in your marriage, it's not the time to say, let's talk about fixing it. Talking doesn't solve the problem. What needs to solve the problem is to create a space for the man to feel that, okay, there's no danger yet. There's no emergency that I have to put an end to this marriage. So what does that do? It stabilizes the space so that the next thing I'm going to tell you to do, you can have space to do it. What a lot of women that I've helped don't know is that if you put a lot of pressure, the husband would become pressured and panic. And what I mean, panic will decide that, you know what, if I allow this to continue, it's going to destroy my health, it's going to destroy my career, which is very, very important to the man. Remember, in Genesis, when God made Adam, he gave him a task. So men are task-oriented, work-oriented, career-oriented. He gave him a work. He said, you take care of the garden. And so humans in general, men more, are really very protective of what will keep their livelihood and their sustenance in the world. So if the man begins to feel that, you know what, this problem in the marriage is really affecting my health, affecting my career, he can say, you know what, I want to get some space and move away. So this won't work the way you want it. I'm assuming that you can see that there's something coming into your marriage, trying to destroy your marriage. And if you're watching this video, I applaud you. You are doing very well. The fact that you have taken responsibility for your marriage, you've made up your mind that there's something I can do and I want to know it and I want to do it. If there is any way that I can turn my marriage around and the love that my husband has for me around, I want to know it and I want to try it. You are already way ahead of many, and you have chances. Your chances of turning your marriage around is higher and much, much higher. So you want to create that space where the husband feels, okay, I can be myself, whether it's me or whatever it is. From your own perspective, you just want him to know that there's space for you to be yourself right now. You create that space. Now, it doesn't need to be for long, but you need to create that space for a while. Next thing is then try to build back the attraction. Now, to build back the attraction, it starts from inside you. Yes, it starts from inside you. You need to like him, not love him in like a responsibility. Okay, God told me to love, and I'm just going to love him. No, not that. Because I ask people when I'm working with them, I always ask, if you have all these things that are wrong with your husband, why do you want to stay married to them? They say something like, I don't want to break the marriage. I don't want the children to suffer. I don't want to struggle financially. Some people tell me that they're honest. I don't want to struggle financially, and all of that are reasons, but they're not the best reasons to get your husband to love you again. If you want your husband to love you and really connect with you deeply the way you crave, then you got to start by liking him. And in order to like him again, you need to find out, why did you stop liking him in the first place? What are some of the things that he does that really go against what you want or what you desire, your expectations, and work on those things. Some of them you can figure ways around them. Others, you can find ways to communicate with him to see if it can be changed. But really, if you don't like your husband, the chances of him falling in love with you again is very, very slim. You gotta like him. And if if you can't like him, then you need more help. What I mean by more help means you need to figure out what's next. Why this is so important to you, whatever it is that's holding you back from liking him. So you work on that. The next step in order to overcome that not liking him is to work on forgiveness. Because the real reason why we stop liking someone is because they hurt us. And instead of forgiving them, we sweep it under the carpet. We ignore the pain. We sometimes try to suppress the feeling of anger or unforgiveness, and we assume that we walked on. I was speaking to someone the other day, and she said my husband cheated on me, and she wants to move away from that. Not talking about how to heal. What process did you go to heal from that betrayal? What process did you go to overcome the feeling of rejection that you experienced based on that particular affair that you're talking about? And usually they've not done anything. The only thing that's happening now is that because they fought for the marriage and the husband reacted and walked away or something, they don't want to lose the marriage. So they kind of get him back and say, I've forgiven him, but you've not really forgiven him. So, and if those pile up over years, you're going to have that resentment there. And you don't really like him. You don't really forgive him. And so he can sense it. And that's why he keeps pulling away. It's not your fault, but it's what is real. That's what's happening. So you got to work on that. Work on that. And as you work on that, I will say, when you're working on forgiveness, you got to also work on the way you have been reacting, the habits that have started popping up. So when you are dating a man and the man really likes you, got to the point of marrying you, there's something that make that happen. That you trigger certain things in him. You either make him just enjoy being with you, or make him see the future, and he likes the future that he sees with you, and he likes the way that you make him want to deal with life and overcome life. Now, if all of these things, when you stop liking him and you're resentful, and you start to treat him in a way that you may not even know is unconscious to you, he begins to see another future where he has to carry you along and drag you along, maybe, or appease you. He can't be himself without getting complaints about something, or he's just distracted and he has decided to do things in a very mean way and wrong way, and as a result, you are saying, no, this is not the right way to do stuff. And so he still feels that he cannot live up to your expectations, right? So if you start to evaluate how you show up, you can change that from bringing a judgmental face, which is not your fault, because if you are following the right thing, someone that is not doing the right thing will always feel judged. That's not your fault. But you can, with the help of God and with help of just being aware of what's going on, you can change the atmosphere. You can use your words to say, you know what, you may feel a bit attacked by my lifestyle, but I want you to know that I've chosen you and I'm going to stand with you to get to the goals that you want to get to, which is what you know. You may know where he wants to be, how he wants to get there, and you can show yourself as the person who's standing with you to get there, rather than standing to say you cannot get there. Because that's what happens when a person is not able to step up to a thing and the spouse is able to do it with ease, and they are wondering in their head, they don't need to say it, why this other person is not stepping up. So as a wife, if you're able to do a lot of things that your husband knows that he should be doing and he's not doing them, and he's looking at you, he can feel condemned, he can feel judged without you saying that. So all of this, once you get to know them, then you can start to reconnect by making little efforts to bring that into your marriage, that confidence, that space of saying, I care, I know, I see you, and I want to walk with you. I'm not just, I don't like you just because I'm imagining that you are this other person. I can see your weaknesses. I can see your failures. I can see that you're not where I thought you were, but I accept you for who you are, and I'm joining with you to move to where you want to be. Right? So it shows up in many ways. Physically, it shows up in the way you show up physically, right? In your energy around them. So if you are the kind that when your spouse has a negative mood, you join them in the mood. You also feel bad. If they are happy, then you're happy. If you create that kind of space, then they're not going to feel confident in your space. I'm not saying it's right for them to have a mood that is like a roller coaster, but I'm saying that if you are saying, I want to attract them back to me, then you need to make up your mind that you're not going to join them in that roller coaster kind of behavior. So you show up with energy at all times, good energy, nice, happy, not necessarily happy all the time, but steady mind, steady being, energy in the space, and compose you. Now, next thing is your thoughts, the way you think, the way you approach stuff. Sometimes I see a lot of women, they're able to think about things fast or multitask, and your husband is not able to do that. If you want to draw them in, you need to step up in your ability to engage with someone that is not engaging with you the way you're used to engaging. So you can build up a little bit strength in your way of thinking. And mostly what I would suggest to you to do is to be inquisitive. Ask questions about what your husband is thinking about, what he's doing, right? Not by saying, what are you thinking? No, not like that. By asking questions about what he does and what he spends his time on. Sometimes you don't even need to ask the questions. You just need to be there to see what they're doing and ask deeper level questions about what they're doing. It's okay to ask how's your work today, and if when they're in a good mood, they've told you about certain things about that work. The next time you're going to talk to them, it's not going to be how's your work. It's specific. You're going to ask specifically about what they are doing. It shows interest, and they may be willing to tell you more or not. Even if they're not, you go back to that, I'm going to go down because they're not willing to share. You're going to say, well, they're not having a good time, or they don't feel like sharing. You just move on and be yourself. In other words, you're going to create your own space where you're living your full life. You're following God's call for you, and you're having a great time while being intentional in connecting with your spouse. Emotional, also, your warmth, and your feelings, making it clear how you feel. It's important. You may wonder, if I tell my husband how I feel, he may feel that I'm wanting him to fix that. Not necessarily. There are ways to be honest with your emotions. Not controlling, but honest. It's easy to fall into the trap of controlling, which is what a lot of women do when they're not yet on, when they've not built up strength in this area, which is you want to make him behave in certain ways, and so you try to trigger his emotions. No, don't do that. What you want to do rather is let him know exactly how you feel. If you feel that whatever he's doing makes you scared, you let him know that this behavior scares me, but I know that you are doing your best. So once he knows how you feel, and you're not trying to force him to do what you think he should be doing, he loves that, because it gives him room to prove that he loves you as well. And then spiritual groundedness. You need to be spiritually strong, and you need to fight for your marriage in the place of prayer and stand against the lies of the enemy. And then model the kind of life that you're expecting to see. Now, it is true that the man is supposed to be the head of the unit spiritually and inspire the wife to follow God and listen to God. But if your husband is not in that space, then you can choose to lead in that space. And what does that mean, to lead in that space? It means to be soft in the presence of God and listen for instructions. Ask God, Lord, how do I show love to your son today? Not religion. You see, I see a lot of women trying to show that they are spiritually strong, and they do that by going to a lot of spiritual events and talking so well about their pastors, but disrespecting their husbands in the process. So this is not what I'm talking about. I'm saying be spiritually grounded, not necessarily attending so many more events. Attend the ones that you have to do once a week, and the midweek ones, yes. But more importantly, be very grounded in your personal time with God, in your prayer time with God, in drawing your strength, your emotional strength, your physical strength, your mental strength from God, from your presence, from your fellowship with God. And if you're doing that, you're going to begin to stir something deep within him that he doesn't even know. All right. So you want him to feel very good around you, not evaluated or not pressured. That's the kind of thing you want to think about on this step. So the first step is to create the atmosphere change, the way you approach stuff. No complaining, no correction. Just leave things, just change it. See him as a good roommate and pull back a bit to create that space. Second thing is engage in a way that is built on your foundation on God, your depth of connection with God, and your personal choice to pursue your goals, your life, not without him, but in when he doesn't want to, you're still full, you have a lot of activities going on. And the last step is those little things that you do. So when you notice that your husband is pulling away and you want help, and you're watching this video for that, I want you to then begin to build a series of little things that you sow into the marriage to recover it. And all of that should be wrapped around what we talked about earlier: respect for him, admiration for him. That's what he wants. That's what he craves. He wants to be able to sit down in his own place where he's alone and say, my wife really likes me. She looks up to me. I must not disappoint her. And I've got a woman that is worth fighting for. No man should take her from me. This is the mindset you want. And in order to get that, you want to be able to behave in such a way that if he chooses not to take the advantage of this love that you have for him, he is the one that loses the most. If you are not in that mindset, you're going to come with a needy mindset. And a needy mindset inside you begins to emanate a feeling that he doesn't want. It's your body language is going to say it. I'm desperate. You don't want to be desperate. You want to be confident. And confidence in God, it's attractive. All right. So you begin to do those small kindnesses. You don't go big. Just small things that you enjoy doing, that you can do for him. The way you speak, the way you ask questions, the way you interact, notes that you leave, not too much, not too little as well. So I started with the first step, which is to pull back a lot, create that void, that space where he begins to wonder what's going on here. Why is she pulling back? Yes, it gets his attention. Then begin to engage kindly and steadily. No more yo-yo behavior. Now, if you're feeling all that yo-yo and you can't help it, I know what you're talking about. It's normal. That's why I have a program where I help people over 6 months overcome that inability to control that feeling and to really ground you on all those things that I'm talking about. So if what I'm saying makes sense to you, but you feel that I cannot do it, just like when I went to learn how to swim and the instructor would tell me things to do and I try, they don't work. And I know it works because I can see people swimming. So if you are like that, you see people doing the right things, you know what to do, but when you get to try to do it, it's not working. You're feeling angry all the time. You're feeling the resentment pulling up. You say, okay, I heard this. I'm going to go try it at home. As soon as you see him, just sitting down on his own, not talking to you, not even looking when you walk in, not even acknowledging that someone walked in, you feel all that feeling come up again. I can help you with that, and that's what we do in the Love Catalyst group, community, and program. So if you want that, I can help you. But right now, what I'm saying to you is, do not overthink this. Rather, let it come from inside. Get to the space where when you are offering all of these things that you are doing, you're doing them from your heart, your own desire to be a blessing. Whether he says yes or no to them, doesn't matter. You're just doing what you know is the best thing to do at this time. Now, let me give you something that you must remember. These are seeds. They don't automatically turn the man to start following you, chasing you, going through water and fire for you. They are seeds. They grow and they bear fruit. You got to be patient as you begin to sow them. And how do you know to continue? The first thing is you will notice small changes. And those changes can go up and down. Sometimes it looks like everything is turning around and then it slows down. Stop worrying about those little changes. Just be consistent. Be yourself. And make up your mind that I'm going to be who I am regardless of who he is and how he behaves. So you're going to stop the begging. You're going to stop apologizing all the time. Stop all of that. Stop interrogating him. You need to know where he is and stop all of that. Don't try to test him. Don't try to overwhelm him with love. Don't try to fix him like a project. They all come from fear, all of those behaviors. You need to come with a sense of confidence that, look, I am a blessing. I'm wonderful to have. And if you play around, you're going to lose me. Not to say that, but have it as your background, where you act from. And if you act from that space and say, look, God has put me in your life to be a blessing to you, and I like you, I thank God for you. Even though I see all the things that are in your life that God wants to work on, I trust him that he's working on that and on them, and I'm going to walk in line with God. If you come from that space, you're going to be attractive. And of course, you keep taking care of yourself and moving yourself forward, right? So if it's really, really cold and distant, that's what I was talking about. Just be steady. Just keep steady. Don't change. Don't move. Don't operate based on his actions. Operate based on what God puts in your heart to do, right? Keep your tone gentle, predictable. Don't follow his mood swings. Be steady. You may need support for that. And if you do, get support that you need. Right? And stay in the place of prayer. If you can put all of these things together, you're going to have your husband beginning to fall back in love with you, because what you're doing is you're giving him what he has been dreaming about. Every man, every little boy, as soon as he's born, is dreaming about the time where he will be that person, that big king, that man who his children and his wife will look up to him and say, I'm so grateful that we have you in our lives. We're so grateful that God put you in our lives to be a blessing to us, and we look up to you, right? That's what he's dreaming of. And of course, it doesn't mean that you have to not earn as much as him. No, you can earn a lot more than him. You can even be the president of your country. It doesn't matter. That's not his problem. What he wants is that when you are with him or he's with you, you look to him and say, I really appreciate having you in my life. I like you. And I'm so glad that I have you by my side. Now, this is what the man is looking for. And if you begin to work towards that, of course, with God's help, you are going to get the man. Yeah, because he can get it. That is not easy to find. He can easily find someone that will laugh and laugh at his jokes and pretend to enjoy his company. He can find that. But that lasting love, when you already know all his weaknesses, because he knows that the women outside or the people that are looking up to him, they don't see his weaknesses. But if you see his weaknesses and you can still look up to him and like him, like to be in his place, and you're not trying to change him, you're not trying to change him all the time, then you have got yourself a man that will follow you everywhere you go. Yes. So I hope this is helping you. And if you have a question, you can of course pop it in the chat, and I'll be very happy to respond to you. And when a woman understands what I'm saying, marriage becomes way easier. And I don't know what happened over the years. I know, but I wish women didn't get into the place where you're trying to prove a point to your husband that I'm equally as strong, equally as good. It's obvious that women are way, way stronger in many things. It's obvious that a man cannot come near to doing what the woman can do with childbearing and caring and all of these things. But somehow we got into our heads that if a man is failing in this area, in the area of prayer, failing in the area of providing the way he should, the woman can just tell him to do that and tell him however she wants. No, you're going to destroy your husband if you do it that way, whatever way you want, because your way will be the way you would do it with your friends, your female friends. But the man doesn't receive things the same way, and so every woman needs to just learn this one thing, that look, this man, this is what he wants, this is what he's looking for, and I can get him to do all that he needs to do for his own life by speaking it in the way that he understands it, which is the way of, you can be that man, that strong man, that great man that God has designed you to be. If you wrap everything that you say to your husband in that package, you will get him all the time, because he wants that. And if you speak in the language that he understands, you will get what you want, and you get him to be what he wants, right? So I remember reading a book. I can't remember exactly the name of the book. I think it's The Empowered Woman or something like that. And the woman was saying that she used to wonder how her husband was going to do, and she used to complain about him with his finances and his work. And then one day her eyes got opened and she started calling him my money bag. He didn't have as much money as her, but I think that's what I'm just remembering that comes to mind, and I believe that it can help somebody. And the guy rose up and became the money bag, right? Because his wife believed in him. So if you really learn to open your mouth and declare your belief in your husband, not parrot it, but really get to like him, which is why I work with people for 6 months, because overcoming all those things that you have put all over, and you've learned all your life, and the hurt that you got through the time that you were growing till you got married, so that you can like someone that is not doing everything that you want. It takes some time, but if you can learn it, you'll be surprised that your husband will turn into the person that you really, really, really like. And you'll be wondering, wow, how does that happen? Why didn't it become that before I started saying that? It's because that's how life works. A person can rise up to our expectation, or they can fall down to our expectation, whichever way we choose. You can choose that, you know what, I'm going to say he's going to fail. It's never going to do well. And you start saying that, you start thinking that they're going to meet that expectation. But you can change it the other way around too. And once you are in that mode and you've made up your mind, if you're watching this video, you are that kind of a person who has said, you know what, this is my husband, and I want him to love me, and I want our marriage to work. If that is you, then you're already in the right frame of mind, and all these things I'm saying to you will help you, because you already made up your mind that this is what I've got. So you're going to make what you've got into what you believe that it should be, not by controlling it, not by forcing it, but by trusting the process that God, who made marriage and made your husband, has designed. All right. So this is what I'm doing in this video. I want to encourage you and challenge you at the same time, and give you hope that the husband that seems to be pulling away, he can come back with much force, more force than before. The love that he has for you, and the marriage that seems to be shaky can change, and a husband that seems to be hard headed and doesn't like to do things right can become a soft man to you. He can still be hard headed to others, and of course you don't want that. You still want him to grow in his ways and the way he behaves with everyone, just like Christ. But he will start by being soft to you, and over time he will learn. I've seen that with older couples that are married for long. I talk to them and I see how they're able to handle their man, especially the women. They can handle their man, and the man is dangerous and rough and to others, but when it comes near her, he changes for her. Why? Because she is his greatest cheerleader. She's someone that sees all his weaknesses and says, I like you, and I admire so many things in you. What a man does is when he sees a wife that he wants to marry, he sees her and chooses her wholeheartedly, completely. But what a woman does, not because you are, I'm trying to blame you, it's just how you have been wired, is that she sees a man and she's happy to see him, and she starts to check all the compartments of his life. And then when she sees certain areas that she doesn't like, she then says to herself, I don't like this part, and I want to change it, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Rather say, I have the whole package. This is my stuff. There are things that I don't like, but still mine, and become part of the solution. Now, men do that too when they get married to a wife, and they say, you know what, I like her, I choose her, but then I want her to be like this, to be like this, to be like this. And once you do that, it's a problem. It's a problem. So in this video, I'm talking to women who want to bring the love back. So I'm going to focus a lot on the women. If you want to know the one for the men, it's in my other video, the one I did last week. So I hope this has helped you so far. If you have a question, pop in the comment or in the chat. I'll be happy to answer your question. All right. The goal for me, the goal I have for you is to see you in a marriage that you love, with a man that you love, that loves you, that honors you, and will stand with you through thick and thin, and be there to protect you if it needs to, and be with you all your life. That's the man that you want, and you can have that by following God's way, God's way, not rushing to try to correct, try to control, but choosing to say, you know what, I'm going to let you develop into who God wants you to be by me growing and developing into who I need to be, not dependent on you, but interdependent on one another. In other words, I will use what you have to grow if you're offering it. But even if you don't offer it, I will keep growing. And I'll be offering what I have. If you take it, it's going to help you grow. So you go with that mind. And if you continue with that, you're going to find a husband that will be stuck with you. Not stuck with you, that will be ready to go with you, because he knows he can never find anyone better. And even if he falls into that trap of thinking that someone is better, he will wake up very quickly from his foolishness and come begging for mercy. And of course, God will help you to be able to forgive. Now, there's so many things that I could say, and I'm going to wrap it up here. One thing I want you to know is that you don't have to fight this alone. You don't have to struggle with this alone. You can get help. I have this Love Catalyst group of really top leaders. I call them Christian high achieving Christian couples, people who are leaders in their lives. They build successful careers, strong faith, and have reputation, but somehow they discover that the level of impact is not the same. in their relationships, or they want it to be even higher. High achievers never stop growing. They never stop improving. And so we have this group of people. I call them love catalysts. So if you need support, don't keep it to you. Don't stay and struggle alone. Don't stay and struggle alone. Reach out to me, and I will be happy to connect with you and see how I can work with you to get that level of success, even in your relationship and your marriage, especially because marriage, your family is your biggest asset. All the money in the world will not satisfy you if you lose your family. So you want to protect that family, invest in that, and the little investment you make in your family, you will reap for years and for years and for years. So if you want to do that, look in the description of this video. You will see how you can book a call with me, and we can talk. I'll give you 30 minutes and we can chat and see how we can work together, if that sounds good to you. All right. And of course, every time you have any questions, post them here. I'm always willing to answer your questions and be part of your success journey. All right. May the Lord bless you and keep you and strengthen you. May your husband fall in love with you again and again and consistently love you. May your children honor you for the work that you have put into your marriage and into being that woman that God has created you to be, to yourself, to your husband, to your children, and to the world around. May you be a blessing to the world all around you, because you chose to operate by love and not by fear. Amen. Bye for now.